Expository essays. First, we're going to learn what an expository essay is, and we're going to talk about planning our writing. And then we're going to look at an example essay. So I hope this video helps you understand a little better how to write an expository essay. We are very familiar with expository writing whether we realize it or not, because we read it when we get ready to understand a new idea or complete a project. Expository writing explains, or sometimes it's a how-to to tell a process. There are different types of expository essays. These are the list of those different types. You can define a concept or an idea like love with a definition essay. You can compare and contrast with expository essays. You can give examples of a certain type of thing. You can give cause and effect. And you can even give division and classification of certain types of things. Like in a certain type of essay, you might classify different types of pasta. And in a division essay, you might talk about different parts of town. But the most common type of expository essay is one where we just plain explain a concept or tell more about a certain idea. Expository essays are written just like any other essay that you've ever written. It has to have an introduction, it has a body, and it has a conclusion. The introduction contains an attention-grabbing opener. It might be a question, a statistic, a quote, or a vivid description. This should hook or interest your reader enough to help him or her read on. It also contains a clear, concise, and defined thesis statement at the very end of the first paragraph. The body paragraphs contain strong topic sentences and transitions to move the narrative along. It also contains vivid, powerful examples or descriptions or explanations to let the reader really understand the concept. In the conclusion, you should return to your thesis statement and give some type of statement of greater meaning or an importance, or even give a call to action. Edit your essay with the top 5. Every time you write an essay, you should edit it for certain things. And again, these are the most common errors that we find in essays. Go back to this slide when you're done writing and try to look for these. The introductory word or phrase comma is the most missed comma. If you have any sentences that start with prepositions or adverbs, be sure you put a comma at the end of the phrase. Like this phrase, at the beginning of the story. This contains 2 prepositional phrases and you have to put a comma at the end of them. Finally, in conclusion and then are all transition words, and they must also have commas. Compound sentence commas also are missing sometimes. If you have 2 complete thoughts joined by coordinating conjunctions, be sure you put a comma before those. He was once my friend, comma, but now I can never trust him again. Interrupter commas are also missed a lot. Like in this sentence, Mr. Jones, comma, my friend, comma, spoke at the assembly. Sometimes we have phrases in the middle of sentences that explain or give more information. Be sure you put commas around those phrases. Sentencing is also very hard to correct sometimes for some students. Look for fragments. These are sentences that are missing subjects. Make sure every one of your sentences has a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Then, make sure that your sentences are not run-ons or have too many thoughts. A simple sentence has 1 subject, 1 verb, 1 complete thought. Compound sentences can express 2 thoughts, but please be careful of leaving out your commas on those compound sentences, and also make sure you don't have too many thoughts. If you do, divide your sentences into 2 or more. Be sure you use your commas when needed. Spelling and verb tense. Verbs must agree with subjects in number. Check your verbs, and do not change verb tense in your essay unless you flash back. And this is not something you would commonly do in an expository essay. More often you flash back in narratives. Let's look at an expository prompt or essay question that's pretty common and go through how to actually write this essay and how to plan for this essay. Here's our expository prompt. Look at the sayings of Poor Richard. These are those written by Ben Franklin back in the 17th century. He created an almanac with common expressions that people found very entertaining and also educational. We're going to choose 3 that you think are the most important in life, explain their meaning, and how it helps a person live a happy, successful life. So in this prompt, you have 3 tasks to choose 3 sayings, explain their meaning, and tell how it helps a person be more successful or happy. That's what we're going to use to plan our essay. Here's a list of Poor Richard's sayings that I gathered from one of the readings out of our literature textbook. We're going to look at these sayings, and then we're going to take 3 of them and pre-write or plan our writing, and then write the essay. I'll just read through them. Not to oversee workmen is to leave your purse open. Buy what you has no need of, and before long you will sell your necessities. What you seem to be really. No gains without pains. Well done is better than well said. Fish and visitors smell in 3 days. Honesty is the best policy. The worst wheel of the cart makes the most noise. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Most fools think they are just ignorant. An empty bag cannot stand upright. He that cannot follow cannot lead. A penny saved is a penny earned. Quarrels could never last long if only on one side laid the wrong. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, and love thy neighbor. Don't pull down your hedge. Let's plan our essay. We're going to choose 3 sayings and write them down on a separate sheet of paper. Then explain what you think they mean. And then finally, brainstorm about how they help a person be successful and are happy. One of the ways to organize this is to use just a table where you choose the 3 sayings, you explain them, and brainstorm about them. Then, think about a way to start your essay, and choose even one of Ben's sayings would be a way to start. I like to choose one that's a little more humorous to engage the reader or be a little more entertaining. Form your thesis statement from the prompt. The prompt pretty much tells us what our thesis should say, that we're writing about Ben Franklin's Poor Richard's sayings, that we're going to explain them, and that we're going to tell how it helps a person be successful and happy even today. Use your prompt. Use everything that you have available to help you write your essay. And then we're going to brainstorm a way to end by restating the thesis, giving a call to action, or maybe telling people to read the sayings and learn even more ways to be happy and successful.